So now that I've identified various areas of food, water, and shelter within this landscape, I'm going to drop a bunch of different waypoints of my areas of interest so that when I do scout boots on the ground, I'm going to be able to do that way more effectively, having a list of different points of interest. So I'm not wasting my time walking around aimlessly looking for interesting stuff. I've got a good idea of what's already going on in the landscape. Sometimes things are going to seem a little bit different in person than they do on satellite imagery, but that's why it's good to give yourself lots of options, because eventually you're going to find something that is really going to put you in a good advantage for fall. So when I've identified a potential bedding area, I can drop a waypoint on that area. Let's say that bush right there was of interest to me for a bedding area. So maybe I'll just throw this icon of a deer and say bedding. Now this is saved on iHunter, and if I'm ever looking back on these waypoints, I can click on that and be like, okay, yeah, that was a potential bedding area that I identified. So I've identified this spot here as a potential bedding area. Maybe I'm curious to know how long of a hike it could be to hike into there. So I can go to the access point, and using the drawing feature on the app, I can click on go to the axis and draw this line all the way over to that waypoint. Now I can see it's about 1.2 kilometers to get there. So it gives me a good idea of the distances of where everything is on the property. Another feature is, let's say you're curious to know how much acres is this one particular area. So there's this block feature. I can grab this block and make a square and be like, how big is this meadow here? It's like, okay, well that is 226 acres right there. So another really cool feature on iHunter. One of the #1 features I most often use on here is the Track Me feature. Although it's kind of difficult to show it without actually walking. Essentially, if I was to walk with the Track Me feature on, it'll leave this breadcrumb trail all the way behind me while I'm hiking. And let's say I'm walking through some thick bush or some swamp, and I'm trying to find my way out at night. Well, that breadcrumb trail is left, and I can turn around and follow that trail exactly to know I can find a nice safe route home. So here I am on the mobile version of the app, and let's say there's no cell phone service in this area, but you still want to have access to that HD satellite imagery even when you're offline. You can go to your base maps, and they give you a whole bunch of different options for base maps, and you can see some of them say that they cannot be cached, but if you scroll down to ArcGIS satellite, and it says you can cache this, so you click on that, go to ArcGIS satellite, and you hit the settings tab. You can now go to add region to cache, and you hit yes here. Now you see this area here. I'm gonna square this entire WMA that I'm interested in hunting and have zoom level up to 18. That's gonna give you the best, or sorry, zoom level to 17, and that's gonna give you the best HD mapping for this entire area. So you can see, you hit check mark, and this is going to be 18 megabytes to download this area. You hit yes, and it'll begin to cache the map in the bottom. So once that download is complete, you'll have full HD satellite imagery just like this on your phone, and you'll have access to that all the time, even without service. So when you're in the field and you're looking for a specific point of interest, or maybe a place to walk with the least resistance, you can utilize satellite imagery even if you don't have cell phone service. And that is one of my favorite features of this app, is the ability to do that. Another really cool feature on the iHunter app is the ability to add your friends as contacts through this chat feature up top here. And what that allows you to do is send waypoints back and forth within the app. So let's say you and your friend are hunting the same WMA. He can quickly send you a fresh rub that he just found, so you have that saved on your phone as well. One of my favorite features on the iHunter app is the ability to purchase within the app RM land ownership maps. So you can do that by clicking on the area, seeing what RM it is, and then it'll give you the prompts to purchase that map if it's available. Then you can edit the opacity of the landowner map. And where this can come in really handy is, let's say you're hunting this large chunk of wildlife management area here, but you see a bunch of deer utilizing this private land that you have no idea who owns it. Well, this gives you the option to see the last name of the landowner, and then give you an idea of who you need to contact to see if you can get permission on that land. One of the most valuable parts for having these land ownership maps on the iHunter app is the ability to use it while waterfowl scouting. When you're putting down the miles on the gravel road and you're looking for that field with the birds in it, when you finally find that field, you can instantly open up your phone and see who owns that property. You then can reach out for permission and lock it up for the exciting morning hunt. For me, the iHunter app is way more valuable than just a resource for hunting. I use it in my day-to-day life all the time, especially when it comes to fishing. For example, you can see here on Lake Winnipeg, I hopped on my snowmobile and drove across the lake, and I left my trail across the lake, so I knew at the end of the day whether the lake blew up and got windy, I have a good breadcrumb trail to follow back home. And also can drop waypoints to some of my favorite spots around the lake and revisit them year after year. I'm finally out here, boots on the ground. Hunting season is just around the corner. So we're out here, we're gonna try to look for some old sign from the year before, set up some trail cameras, and just see what we saw on the map and see if it kind of is what we're looking for. So right now we've walked out into the